Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Kayla and Landon. Hello.
What's going on, David? How are you?
Hi. Happy April Fool's Day. That's a thing.
Happy April Fool's
that happens today. Does
it happen? Is that a joke?
I
David?
guess.
I don't know.
I guess only if someone plays a joke on you. Otherwise, it's just Friday. But who knows?
That's fair. At least it's Friday.
It is Friday, and that's no joke. And on today's show, we will pay tribute to our favorite TV jokers, pranksters, and fools. We'll break down the 4 biggest sporting events coming in April, kick off our month-long celebration of Mother Earth, and help you plan your TV watch list for the next 2 weeks. But first, as always, we kick things off with In the News. Jim Carrey has announced that he is retiring from acting. While doing press for his upcoming movie Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Carrey told Access Hollywood, quote, "I'm retiring. I'm being fairly serious. It depends. If the Angels bring some sort of script that's written in gold ink that says to me it's going to be really important for people to see, I might continue down the road, but I'm taking a break." The actor continued, "I really like my quiet life. I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough." Kayla, Landon, what are you feeling about this news?
Go ahead, Kayla. You seem emotional right now.
Just no.
Bravo.
I understand. And the Oscar goes too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I understand. I mean, he's been in the industry a long time. He's given us a lot of solid pieces of work. So I can't blame him for wanting to retire, but I'm also kind of sad that I won't see him on screen anymore, just being goofy and funny and his classic Jim Carrey self. So
Yeah.
a little saddened, but I'm happy for him that he gets to, he worked all this time and now he gets to, do whatever he wants now. So I guess
I'm gonna ride on that same train, Kayla. It's something that coming from the sports side of it, we're seeing athletes do this a lot now. Where it's maybe not the public thought that this is their time to retire, this is their time to go. But look, I think while COVID was awful, I think one thing that COVID taught all of us is that like our family and our friends and our lives are so important. And I think this is something we're gonna continue to see. I think it's absolutely a trend, and honestly, I'm really happy for him that he was able to come to terms and part and be happy with his decision and literally roll off into the sunset. I mean, he should be fine in all of his situations. It's 2 weeks ago we saw the women's #1 tennis player, 25 years old, just walk away, just satisfied with what she's done and be happy. Look, we got Bruce Almighty, right? And that's really what matters. So
That's true. We did have that.
Well, it's funny because like he's in recent years, he's really like taken up the hobby of painting. He does a lot of painting.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about in that same interview about what brings him joy in life now, and that is putting up some canvas and like just expressing himself that way. And you're right, he's given us so much, and what more could you possibly do when you look at where his career began from like this goofy slapstick comedy on TV to being a slapstick goofball in movies to being like a legit serious actor in one of my favorite movies of all time, Man on the Moon, when he played Andy Kaufman, and then Truman Show. Like he proved that he got Oscar nominated.
So good.
He was Oscar nominated for something, and it was not Man on the Moon, but it might have been Truman Show. But
it might have been. That was an amazing movie.
Yeah, and now he's like, I think he's kind of had a hard time like finding where his place is in Hollywood these days. But like best of luck to him. He was the first. When I was in school, I knew someone who had a little book of celebrity addresses that you could mail like fan mail to. And I mailed Jim Carrey a fan letter because I loved The Mask. I was a huge Mask fan. And he, whoever did, mailed me back an autographed 8x10 of his face. And it was autographed, "Spank you very much, Jim Carrey." and I still have it to this day. That 8x10.
That is a keepsake,
So,
an absolute
yeah.
keepsake.
For
And I've
sure.
tilted it. I've tilted it to see, is that real ink on paper? It absolutely is. Whether he signed it or not, I don't know. But I've never gotten to interview him. I
did.
want to ask him, did you really sign this? Maybe I'll get a chance.
He'd be like, I don't know.
Maybe you set up, David. He paints you while you're holding the picture of the mask. I mean, I'm here for it.
What a dream that was.
Give us a cameo.
And Brad, our producer, has let us know that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind was the movie he was nominated for in 2005. Thank you, Brad. We didn't even have to ask for it this week.
Way to go, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. And unfortunately, Jim Carrey wasn't the only big-name actor to announce retirement this week. On Wednesday, Bruce Willis's family announced that the action star is calling it quits after a 42-year career that includes more than 140 TV and movie credits. In a message on her Instagram page, Willis's wife, Emma, said, quote, "To Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. According to the Mayo Clinic, aphasia, quote, robs you of the ability to communicate and can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written." And like, what a devastating way to like have to end your career. But like, man, again, like what a career he's had, from action to comedy to TV. Like, talk about someone who's done it all. Like Bruce is another one who survived a lot of eras in this business.
And no one
42
could
years,
rock a leather jacket like Bruce Willis. No one could rock.
And a bald head. Like,
I think it goes together because Vin Diesel also does it really well. But
it's true.
Bruce in leather sounds like a nice album name, honestly.
Bruce in leather.
That's not a Springsteen album?
It could be.
I've only ever gotten to meet Bruce once. It was in a press conference setting, but found him to be a very, very nice guy. I actually rode the elevator with him back down again. He was joking. He was very surprisingly soft-spoken. Actually, I was already on the elevator and it went down one floor and opened up, and Bruce was standing right there and he got on the elevator with me. But he was nice.
Cool.
He was so kind to press. All of his cast members speak very highly of him. All I can say from personal experience is that he is a good dude. It's going to be a shame to not see him anymore. But he has like 10 more movies that have already been filmed and will still come out in the next couple years. He is prolific.
Well, that's good
for
news.
Sure.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So next up, some people call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love, in a Joker-fueled segment called Editor's Picks. It's April 1st, and you know what that means. It's April Fool's Day. And what better way to celebrate this unofficial holiday than with some of television's most beloved pranksters, tricksters, and jokesters. And speaking of jokers, the beloved comedy troupe best known as the Impractical Jokers have a brand new special airing April 2nd simultaneously across 3 networks, True TV, TBS, and TNT, immediately following Saturday's coverage of the NCAA Men's Final Four. Let's take a quick look at Impractical Jokers.
I'm Prince. This is Brian.
I'm Brian. Hello.
And we give presentations on life hacks and how to make life easier.
We're gurus.
Yeah.
Want to get started?
Yeah, sure. The one that people ask about the most, money hacks. You can check your neighbor's mailbox for coupons and samples.
Break the law. True story. We were at Red Lobster once, and when the bill came, he had a 10% off coupon that he had gotten from his neighbor's mailbox.
That night, it was good for $90.
So you think you spent $900 at Red Lobster?
$900.
That's a big bill.
Oh, it was the seafood feast.
Yeah.
Do either of you watch Impractical Jokers?
I don't know how you have gotten to
heard.
this point and not seen an episode, but hey,
Okay.
it's kind of funny. I do find it enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, how do you if they play it almost all day long on True TV? Like, it's like ridiculousness.
I do
on
see
MTV.
right. Yeah, I was about to say I do see it like just back to back to back to back on my guide.
Right? So
Always.
pre-pandemic, I actually interviewed the Jokers on several occasions. They're great. They're a lot of fun. But the funny thing is that I had never actually seen an episode of the show until the pandemic. And in 2020, I had watched pretty much everything on television. I watched Tiger King. I saw everything else that there was to watch, and desperately needed something to make me laugh and feel good as we were stuck inside. And I just kind of stumbled on one of the 12 hours of Impractical Jokers a day on True TV, and it was exactly what I needed. And if you're unfamiliar with the show, the general idea is that these four guys, Brian Quinn, James Murray, Joe Gatto, and Sal Vulcano, are four longtime friends who play hidden camera games where they basically attempt to humiliate each other in front of strangers. And typically I get really uncomfortable watching hidden camera. Or are you realizing that you've seen it, Kayla?
No, I've not seen it, but that sounds like something I would want to watch though, because I used to love Boiling Point on MTV.
Oh.
MTV?
Yes. Yeah. So you'll absolutely love
Silent Library.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So typically I get really
Punk'd.
uncomfortable watching these kind of things. Like Punk'd I can't watch because I feel bad for the person being pranked. But this show rarely bothers me because the people being embarrassed are the Jokers themselves. Like the point is to embarrass their friends, not the people in the world around them.
Real people.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of each episode, the Joker who lost the most challenges is punished by having to do something super humiliating to them, and they can't refuse to do it. So Sal, on two different occasions, has lost a challenge and was forced to get tattoos of Jaden Smith on either side of his leg. So he had one really young version of Jaden Smith tattooed, and now he has a more recent version of Jaden Smith tattooed on his thighs. And the Jokers have this like pact where you can't refuse a punishment or you're off the show. It's like this show they just made a pact. It's your punishment, you endure it, or you're done. So they
crazy.
can't refuse.
I would have been
It's
done.
so
Me too, Kayla.
I would have been done at the
done,
tattoo. I can't.
They've
No.
gotten like
this big?
it's big. I mean, it's his whole face.
No, I would be like, yeah, just like make it a one of those minimalistic Jadens. Just
a tiny Jaden.
a tiny Jaden.
Oh my gosh.
But what makes this new Impractical Jokers special particularly interesting is that it's the first episode after more than 250 episodes and specials that won't include Joe Gatto, one of the original Jokers, who announced he's leaving the show for personal reasons. So in this April 2nd special, Joe will be replaced by special guest comedian and hidden camera prank artist Eric Andre, who is like absolutely chaotic.
gosh.
If you know anything about him, he's wild. I mean, like certainly more outrageous than the Jokers are.
I was gonna say, if you
10th
sign that pack, I would worry. I would really
Right,
worry.
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So the 10th season will reportedly feature a rotating lineup of special guests to replace Joe, but I think it's going to be really hard to fill his shoes, as like the series really thrives on the chemistry of these four original guys who have known each other since childhood and know way too much about each other and know how to push each other's buttons. But we'll see how it goes. And every past episode of Impractical Jokers is available on HBO Max. So if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. You can binge all 250 episodes or just watch them back to back on True TV every single day. Which is what I do. Kayla, who are you celebrating on this April Fool's Day?
Well, for me, I took it back. I took it back to my childhood with SpongeBob SquarePants, our favorite sponge under the sea, you guys. This one has a special place in my heart. Let's take a quick peek.
Meatball, spaghetti underneath, ravioli, Great Barrier Reef. Okay, now let's hear that formula.
Sorry, no can do, Mr. Krabs.
What? My name is Monty P. Moneybags, the world-famous art collector. You want to know me?
All right, Gary, listen up. The competition is gonna be fierce. You're the undersnail. Everybody's already counting you out. Now get out there and win so we can rub Squidward's big fat nose in it.
Welcome to the Milkshake Academy. I'm your instructor, Captain Frosty Mug. Let's not beat around the bush here, boys. Your mama's not here to wipe the whipped cream from your chinny chin chins, and I'm not here to help you with your bendy straws.
I've always wanted a beard.
Me too.
So, yeah, that's SpongeBob. I don't know how many of those clips were from like more classic episodes, but let me tell you, and there are so many that stick out in my head. And the thing about SpongeBob is, it's not really about anything. There's no story arc. There's no character development. It's just jokes and just chaos and all that. And talk about like back to back. Me and my brother would watch this back to back. And I remember just wanting pizza for like a straight week after hearing like Krusty Krab pizza is the
pizza for you and me. Yeah.
The cry.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Sing it, man.
Let me tell you, like, there's so many great memories, and I don't know if this was just in my head or if it actually happened, but I wanted Burger King to have a Krabby Patty so badly. I don't know if they actually did it, but I was like, wouldn't that be just amazing? Like, you know, back in the day when they had like the Rugrats watches and all the fun cartoon stuff, I was like, why aren't they making Krabby Patties? I'm really upset about this.
There's almost like not a day that goes by in my life where I can't relate like a SpongeBob quote to something. Like we were literally, Kayla, it makes me so happy you chose this. Like a month ago, we were out having dinner and I got a burger and it didn't have pickles on it, and the Flats episode. And I guess the waitress hadn't gotten far enough away. And I looked at my wife, Maggie, and I was like, no pickles. And the waitress turned back and like headed, and I was like, oh my God, oh no. Like now she thinks but it's just, you're spending all me money, SpongeBob. Oh, there's so many. There's so many quotes.
So many. Oh,
it's
man.
rare that I am too old on this show to understand something, but like SpongeBob was just outside of like my range of like, I don't know, I just missed it, like just barely. And so I didn't watch it. I honestly swear to you, I've never seen an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. Ever.
Oh my
seen
gosh.
bits and pieces, never watched an episode ever.
So you had to be there when it was like on and there were like new episodes coming. Like I don't know if it'd be the same going back and watching them.
Oh, it would, Kayla, I promise. It holds.
Would it be
that
the
show
same?
tracks. It holds. It would.
I
can like literally, David. Oh, here we go. Another segment. Let's fire it up. David, I can literally remember the premiere episode and all the commercials on Nickelodeon leading up, and it would just constantly show him flying off his bed springboard in and like flying in. And then that first episode where like Twitter will date me, I feel like the first episode had no words and it was just him with a reef blower and they were just constantly blowing reefs back and forth.
Yeah, and it was like some kind of like he was trying to clean his yard.
Correct. And Squidward, and that's how they introduced Squidward. Yeah, because Squidward were blowing back out. See, Kayla, it holds up. It does.
Wow.
We're here. It does track. It does. But if any episode, David, you have to see the Krusty Krab pizza episode where SpongeBob treks like what seems like 100 miles to deliver this pizza to
on
this guy.
Back. Yep.
And then the guy gets the pizza and he's like, "Where's my drink?"
It's just again
the drink.
Pure
My
comedy.
diet, Dr. Kelp. Where is my diet, Dr. Kelp?
I'm
I think that
also
was the
pretty
same episode.
sure.
I think that was the pizza one. I think.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah, because they're like he's like marching around when he's very excited to make the trek with the za, and then it becomes
like
depressing,
a
and then the diet Dr.
sandstorm.
Kelp.
There was just a lot happening.
I'm pretty sure he like rides a rock. He rides a boulder or something to deliver it. Like that's his car.
It's crazy, David. It's crazy. And when he gets to the guy's house, he's just like, "Where's my drink?" That entire time.
This is another thing where I am on video interviewing. I've interviewed the cast of SpongeBob multiple times. I've never seen an episode, and they're the most fun. I mean, obviously, like Tom Kenny is a voice acting legend, but like all of them are so much fun. And I have a great time with them. I'm sure I would love this. I just missed it. But I promise you, I'm going to watch the pizza episode.
At least watch the one.
First 100, David. Just throw on the first 100. It'll be perfect.
I say I'm going to watch a lot of things on this show, and I typically don't. But I'm going to watch that one.
And your expert selections come from David. So there you go.
Right. Oh,
I
watch all the stuff. I watch the stuff that I say I watched. I just don't watch the things I say I'm going to watch.
There it is. There it is.
like Mad Men. I've told you 100 times I'm going to watch Mad Men. Never going to do it. It's not going to happen. April Fools. Landon, what kind of trickery are you getting into on this, the Day of Fools?
Admittedly, I kind of just want to keep talking about SpongeBob, if I'm going to be honest. But I'll move on for the sake of moving the show along. I, David, no joke, am watching Is It Cake right now with Mikey Day. And before we dive into this really fun new style of a show, let's roll the clip, Brad.
This is a bowling ball, and this is a cake. What?
This show is insane.
You are all here because you are all talented at making cakes that look like everyday objects.
That is cake.
And now, that incredibly specific skill can earn you thousands of dollars.
Wow. Exceptional.
I get to ask the best question ever. Is it cake?
I have won a lot of cake competitions, and I always like to win.
What I do is the weirdest thing in the world. Like, there are people saving lives, and I am making cake look like other things.
Man, I should have watched baking shows before I did this.
We're just back here talking about SpongeBob, to be honest. But no, hey, this new show on Netflix is truly incredible. I know I was on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about just general creativity when it's coming to shows these days, because you just got to do something different, and especially when it comes to something like a baking show. And this is literally it. There was like a trend on Twitter. Maybe it was during the pandemic. I honestly don't even know what year it is now. Today, is it 22? Probably. But there was a trend that went around where someone would post a picture and you'd have to decide if it was cake or if it was just the inanimate object. Maybe it was a toolbox or something. And then they'd post another picture of them cutting into it. And it was dumb, incredibly dumb. But it really caught on and it became really popular. And here's Mikey Day, who, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a huge SNL fan, so I love Mikey Day. I think he's uncomfortably adorable as a host of this show. He feels the need to explain the rules every single event that they do, and you can tell the cast members are like, dude, like, just, we know it's going to be cake or it's going to be a bowling ball.
It's a
simple
concept.
It seems too simple, to be honest. But it's not too simple, because my wife Maggie and I play all the time, and I try, and I can't tell the difference between cake and a bowling pin. It's brought me to my highest of highs being excited, and my lowest of lows when he tries to cut into something and it's just a Birkin bag, or it doesn't cut. And these David let me in on one of the cast members has been on a couple other baking shows. These people are incredible. Like, we sit there and my wife and I just talk about, like, in no way are we bakers, but like, in no way should someone be able to recreate something so perfectly that it can't be seen as different from something like that. Like the tackle box I was watching last night. It's incredible. They had no idea it was a tackle box. And it's neat. It's fun. You laugh at it and you're also amazed, and it's impressive. And I think that's a great recipe for a show. No pun intended with the recipe. Mm-hmm.
Did you see the bowling pin episode?
Yes, I watched it literally last night. I couldn't believe he chose the bowling pin.
And he did a terrible job. It was so bad. Nothing has looked more like cake than that bowling pin did.
You pick something. Aren't they far away though? Aren't they like? 100
They
feet
are.
from the
Like what a
That's
my whole
why.
thing was, if I was a baker, I would try to pick the most intricate things, so like you're not staring at one thing. I mean, a bowling pin is literally white, whatever they use, edible paint, and then a red stripe. So if there's any imperfections, it's of course going to look off.
Yeah, Kayla, this looked like a bowling pin out of the Flintstones. Like it looked like it had been made out of rock. It was that lumpy and like ugly.
Oh my god.
It was not good. But yeah, Landon, you mentioned I believe his name is Andrew. He's got the green hair. He was on Food Network's Candyland, Halloween Baking Championship, and he's been a judge on another show as well. But like, I've been so fascinated by these realistic cakes. I follow someone on Instagram. Her name is Natalie Sidesurf, and she's a cake artist who was on the Food Network show Buddy versus Duff, and she was Duff Goldman's like specialist cake decorator. And she does the fruit she does is amazing. And she puts little droplets of water on like these apples or like pickles. She does like realistic faces. She did a self-portrait in cake, and it looked like she was next to her own face. It is truly like such an art to be able to do this. And yeah, it's such a cool show. I actually found myself in the end, when they're doing the final challenge, like trying not to pay too close attention to them actually making their cakes, so that I can still try and pick it out at the end. Because like once you see, you know which one it is, but then it takes the fun out of trying to guess yourself.
Right.
I agree, David. We actually did that last night too. It was like, all right, let's like kind of go back and forth to like brush our teeth or something while we're doing this, so we're not that locked into it. And it is a good look. It's fun for everybody, the whole family. It's just family fun.
It is. Highly recommend. Well, if you want to check that out or any of the other shows we just talked about, you can just say what to watch into your voice remote. Next up, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object in a segment called Trending. If you thought March was absolute madness for sports entertainment, just wait until you hear about all the action coming up in April. And it just so happens that we have our very own personal sports guru, Xfinity's very own Bob Costas, the one and only Landon, who is here to tell us about the four biggest sports. Yes.
I thought it was me.
You said the wrong name.
Sorry. My mistake.
What is sports?
Landon, who is here to tell us about the four biggest sports events next month. What you got for us, Landon?
You know, you hit the nail on the head, David. February, January, those months, they way over index on sports. And people think that March and April are kind of the hangover from the Super Bowl. But let me be the first to tell you, they are pretty much just about as drunk with sports as the beginning of the year is. There is way too much going on. You could watch sports every night, men's and women's basketball. There's so much on. We're about to get a new football league. But I went ahead and I put together a little bracket for you guys just to show you how I would break down the importance of sports coming up here in April. So looking at here, you know, you've got the 1 versus the 4 and the 2 versus the 3. These are by far my favorite. I'm hoping to get a little bit of an argument out of this, but without question, leading in the bracket, we've got the NCAA tournament led by 2, the Masters, 3, the NBA playoffs, and 4, the NFL draft. So as one would, let's start from the back on up. The NFL draft, this one just kind of special to me. I haven't been to many events, but I was able to work and report at this a few years ago back when it was in Philadelphia. And alongside that, I think one of the neatest things is I'm a big college sports fan. I think it's neat to watch these kids like finally reach their dream. And seeing them like cry and walk across the stage is just kind of like emotional. It just evokes something out of me. But then to kind of bring this one back down, my interest falls off after day 1. I'm not that deep into college football where I know who's getting drafted in like the 6th round. And I sound like a hypocrite because Tom Brady, 6th round draft pick, Mr. 199. But it just, all in all, it's a fun event, but it's Thursday for me. Friday, Saturday, great for the players, but it's Thursday. Number 3, the NBA playoffs, which if this were 7-year-old Landon, this would be number 1 without question. But this is a sporting event that keeps me up until like 3 a.m. because for some reason these games just have to go into double and triple overtime in the first round. And while they're incredible, and I will be the first to say, I think NBA athletes are the top athlete of all the sports. These dudes are freaks in nature. I mean, one's literally named Giannis, the Greek freak, Antetokounmpo. And it's an unbelievable time. There's so much basketball. And this year we get a play-in tournament. But they're 3-4 for a reason. And I'm going to take chalk in this tournament. There are going to be no upsets. So let's go ahead and move on to the 1 versus the 2 here, which will be your NCAA tournament versus the Masters. Now, my dad is going to be very upset about how this breaks down. My dad has written an NCAA tournament book, and he also loves the Masters. That is his dream event to go to. But starting with the Masters, it's the rolling greens at Augusta. Blooming azaleas littering the fairways, $1.50 pimento cheese sandwiches, whatever that means. I'm not sure if they're toasted or not. I've not been there, but I live in the South now, and pimento cheese is a religion down here. And what's honestly true is it's tradition unlike any other. Look, this one sits with me because some of golf's most iconic moments come from the Masters. I mean, that walk down the fairway in 2019 with Tiger, it emotional. Like it's absurd to see that whole fanfare just saying, heck with these ropes. We're just going to follow him down the fairway. And there's just a sea of like what looks like 1 million people chasing him down the fairway. And you get a fun par 3 contest out of it on Wednesday where the kids join their parents and they get to be the caddies and they get to take fun swings. And one of the caddies hit a hole-in-one last year. Just as a really fun weekend for golf and beautiful weather. And yeah, it's got to be number 2. Sit back with an Arnold Palmer and enjoy it. And 1, at my core, as I brought up earlier, I'm a diehard basketball fan. Shifted to the NFL a little bit, but the NCAA tournament is fun, man. Fun for everybody. If you haven't filled out a bracket, I don't know what you're doing. It's so special. The Cinderellas, the Sister Jeans. Kayla, I know you're the sports editor, and I know you're lying right now. It's April Fool's. You have filled out a bracket. You've got buzzer beaters. You get adults crying. Something that is a timeless thing is watching adults cry, and you just see grown men just sobbing at their alma maters losing, and it's incredible to watch. And this year has been so fun. You had St. Peter's, the Peacocks, winning on National Peacock Day. A plug for Peacock. Go check it out. Say Peacock into your voice remote. But for real, you've had Sister Jean in the past. You had the Peacocks this year. Early on Monday this week, the UConn women went into double overtime. Paige Becker's just becoming a star in front of our eyes. It's a really fun time of year. 334 games played in the tournament throughout UNC Duke. This is the first time we're going to get Duke UNC in an NCAA tournament game. And it's in the Final Four. And it's on Coach K's final exit. It just, the storylines be aghast. It's way too much fun. And that is why I'm taking the NCAA tournament at number 1.
Who you got winning it all?
Why'd you have to do that? I think I don't believe in defense wins championships except for the NCAA tournament. And the Villanova defense, along with their ability to shoot free throws compared to all these teams, I think I'm going to take Villanova. And I also I just don't want to see Coach K go out on top. I'm so tired of the narrative of he is this god, which he is, but it was really fun to watch him lose his final home game, which makes me sound like a terrible person. But I hope Villanova comes out. I'm taking Villanova over Duke in the final. So that's my that's my take.
Actually, Kayla, you were telling me right before the show you don't want to see Coach K go out on top either. You were like Villanova all the way, defense wins championships. I was like, wow, Kayla.
Yeah.
You know so
much
more
I'm just like do. I'm just stage shy, backstage. I'm talking about all this stuff all the time, It's just like when I get in front of the camera, I just kind of freeze up.
Kayla's my plug for sports betting. I go to Kayla. I got a direct line where she keeps my DraftKings account full. So I just, she just doesn't want to show off. She's a behind the scenes kind of character.
I'm gonna let you have your shine, Landon. I'll let you have your shine.
Thanks. Thank you. Are there any arguments? Do you feel as though I snubbed anything here from the April tour?
Well, Kayla, go ahead. You first.
I don't think. Okay, I'll say this is true. I like basketball more than football. Me personally, in college and stuff. When I went to games, I'll be honest. I liked them because they were shorter. They were shorter than NFL games. And I was inside,
I thought you meant
which
the
is
players.
perfect. Temperature control. You know, I was inside. It was like when it was hot, I had air conditioning, and if it was cold, it was nice and warm there. So I just watch the game and have, you know, all this stuff. And it's just more exciting to watch. I feel like, you know, I tried out for the basketball team actually, and was it middle school? No, it was not for me. I got the ball at one point, and everyone just like was charging towards me, and I was like, "This is not for me. Take the ball. Take the ball. I don't."
The truth comes out.
I was like, I don't like this confrontation. I don't like why can't I just take my shot and be happy? Like why do you have to ruin it?
Just shoot your shot, Kayla. That was your shot to shoot.
I tried. I was like, this is not for me. So I ended up going with track, and I was in my own lane. Nobody was coming after me. It was just me and my lane 4 or lane, whatever lane up. That was it. But basketball was not for me to play, but to watch, I can do that.
All right.
Well, Landon, I think you absolutely left something off of your bracket, and that is my own personal Super Bowl of sports, WrestleMania 38, which is the granddaddy of them all, a 38-year tradition. WrestleMania, let me tell you, WrestleMania airs on Peacock this weekend on April 2nd and 3rd. It's only the third time that WrestleMania has taken place over the course of 2 nights. All 3 2-night events, in fact, were during the pandemic era. This is brand new. Saturday night's card features both women's championship matches. Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch defending her title against Bianca Belair. Becky beat Bianca for the title in less than a minute back in August. So Bianca is looking for her revenge on the biggest stage in pro wrestling. And then the other title match features SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, daughter of Ric Flair, defending against former UFC superstar Ronda Rousey. And Rousey has only ever lost in a WWE ring once, which was coincidentally at WrestleMania 35 3 years ago. So she subsequently took a break to welcome her first child in September 2021, but returned to the WWE at Royal Rumble just 4 months later in January and earned the right to compete in this match at WrestleMania by winning the Royal Rumble. And then there's Sunday night's card. I mean, it's massive. Sunday night's card features several notable and unusual matchups, including Sami Zayn versus Jackass star Johnny Knoxville and Austin Theory versus former Colts kicker Pat McAfee.
Oh, that's electricity.
But the main event everyone's talking about will feature WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus Universal Champion Roman Reigns in a winner-take-all champion versus champion unification match. This is the third time Lesnar and Reigns have squared off in a WrestleMania main event. The first time at WrestleMania 31, the match was disrupted when Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank contract and won the title by pinning Reigns for the WWE title. The second time at WrestleMania 34, Lesnar defeated Reigns to retain the Universal Championship. But now, 4 years later, both Lesnar and Reigns are somehow on a whole other level in terms of popularity, storyline drama. Lesnar is a fan favorite. Reigns is this like despised villain who cheats to win. So I think fans are really excited to see how this one plays out. And it's also worth noting that Sunday will also feature the WrestleMania return of Stone Cold Steve Austin, who will appear in the ring with Kevin Owens for what is sure to be an entertaining segment. And it all happens this weekend, April 2nd and 3rd on Peacock. That would be my number one pick, but whatever.
It sounds like it. Have you watched one of these WrestleManias before, David? It kind of seems like that was the first time you'd ever thought about wrestling. I don't know.
Maybe I've seen a couple. Fun fact:
you dabble.
The WrestleMania number is the same as how old I am, so I always know what WrestleMania it is because I'm 38. It's WrestleMania 38.
You guys are attached at the hip. Look at that.
We are. Me and WrestleMania like this. What else? Anything else? We good with sports?
I think we're good. Kayla?
No, see, I have a lot to say, but I'm going to save it for backstage.
You got it. To check out all these sporting events and all the amazing stuff that Kayla's curated in the sports section, just say sports into your voice remote. Next up, we call upon the powers of earth, fire, wind, water, and heart to celebrate our very own Captain Planet in a segment called Hidden Gems. It is April 1st, which means we are just 3 weeks away from Earth Day, but we decided Mother Nature deserved more than just a single day of celebration, so we've dedicated the next 30 days to celebrating Earth Month with a brand new collection of TV series, documentaries, movies, and more, showcasing nature, science, sustainability, and our big blue ball of dirt and water. Just say Earth Month into your voice remote to explore our special curation, beginning first with collections of TV series and documentaries broken out by air, land, and sea. And whether you're curious about the universe above, the creatures down below, or the scaly creatures lurking in the briny deep, you're sure to find something that fascinates you. And if you continue scrolling, you'll find a row of Earth and Nature series free and included with your services, followed by my own personal curation of the 25 best documentaries about the Earth, nature, science, and sustainability, including I Am Greta, The Cove, March of the Penguins, and My Octopus Teacher. Which documentary made it to number 1? You'll have to check out the collection to find out. And finally, we close out the collection with free Earth and Nature channels, such as Nature Vision, the Pet Collective, and the Smithsonian Channel, a collection of free Earth and Nature shows on Zumo, a row of our favorite Earth and Nature networks, and several additional planet-friendly collections. And it's a very deep collection and curation. There's hundreds of shows and movies and documentaries to choose from. So if you're looking for a recommendation on how to start your Earth Month celebration, we've got you covered with a deeper look at some of our favorite TV series and documentaries celebrating the air, land, and sea. And I'll kick things off with a series called Aerial America from Smithsonian. This beautiful series gives viewers a bird's eye view of the United States' most iconic and breathtaking locations. There are actually 76 hour-long episodes showcasing all 50 states and U.S. territories, as well as Yellowstone National Park, the Great Plains, man-made marvels, roadside attractions, the country's best small towns, and so much more. You get this like really fascinating narrated history lesson about the things that you're looking at. It's like ASMR meets like a beautiful screensaver. I don't know. It's like hard to describe, but like it's very calming and fascinating. Total chill TV. And for my documentary pick, I chose Al Gore's Oscar-winning 2006 documentary about global warming and our ongoing and rapidly worsening climate crisis. Global warming is, for lack of a better phrase, I didn't even say the name of the movie. It's An Inconvenient Truth. An Inconvenient Truth. And global warming is, for lack of a better phrase, a hot topic these days. But you might recall that it was this documentary that raised public awareness of these issues to begin with and really ushered in a new era of environmental activism. And if by chance you've already seen this, I'd recommend the 2017 sequel entitled An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power. So there's plenty to see in the Air collection, but there's so much to see in other areas too. I just like froze up. Kayla, what are some of your favorite titles from Earth Month by land?
Oh, I wanted to run with there's plenty of titles to see in the air. I thought you were going to try to work land on in there.
I was trying to, but I just froze up and my mind just was like, you've short-circuited. You've got
a real breakdown.
I know.
Wait, question about Aerial America. Does the narrator have an accent that's very soothing?
He doesn't. If this had David Attenborough, it would have been the perfect series, but it's not. He's just got a normal an American voice.
Oh,
just a guy in a drone.
It might be really suiting for someone from the UK. I don't know how great our accents sound to them, but yeah. But you've chosen some stuff from The Land, right, Kayla?
I sure have. So my first pick for The Land is Brave Wilderness, which just watching the trailer, I could barely make it through just because I was so anxious. I guess my heart starts pumping when these people go into the wild and touch wild things. I for some reason, it excites me, but it also just makes me cringe so much. So in this particular show, animal expert Coyote Peterson, what a name, leads viewers on these wild adventures and up close animal encounters. I'm talking like giant spiders, crocodiles, snakes. Some are cute little furry things that I probably wouldn't mind looking at from afar. But for the most part, it's like all these crazy things. And I guess I should be thankful that somebody's willing to do it so that I can see what species are out there. That person's not me. I'm not kicking a crocodile in the head and seeing what happens. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not sticking my finger out and having a snake bite it. Like, I can't do that. I don't know how they do that kind of stuff. I don't know, but it's definitely something to watch if you want to live vicariously through somebody who is a lot braver than you are when it comes to
Coyote Peterson.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. What a name. And then my second pick is Honeyland, which is about, you guessed it, bees. I'm scared of bees, but I like the big fat fuzzy ones. Those don't bother me much. But the like those like round, like I know, but
she just ruined those bees for her now too.
They look like they're friendly, you know. They move very slow. They're just like, you know, but like yellow jackets, they're just like zinging around. I don't know. I need like a slow moving. The bee's too heavy to get to you in time to sting you. That's what.
So a weighty bee is what you're saying.
A weighty bee. You need a big plump bee.
Oh my gosh! Just thick bees, thick old bees. 2 C's for those bees.
I need enough time to get away. I need enough time to run. But this is a documentary that is about the life of a beekeeper of wild bees. And she lives in a remote mountain village. And it follows her lifestyle before and after her neighbors move in nearby, and how that kind of affects the environment and how she navigates that. So the trailer looks really interesting, beautiful. It's won a ton of awards. It's a fairly recent documentary too. I feel like in the last couple years or so it's been out. So definitely watch that if you. There might be weighty bees in there. I'm not sure, but I don't know if wild bees are weighty or not. But if they are, I'm definitely gonna watch.
I would be the fattest, laziest bee ever. Just honey, just wow, wow, wow. And you know, hopefully I would know that if I sting
you land
someone,
on Kayla's arm. Kayla,
like, don't worry about it. I'm good. I just need to rest. I just need to rest here for a second.
Yes, but it's so
what is
fascinating.
happening?
Like, I don't know. These bees are
Oh,
fascinating.
man.
She's like ripping out like pieces of honeycomb, and it's, you know, it's just like they're just in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
There's also a bee documentary in the 25 best documentaries curation too. So like, as our friend Scott would say, just live your bee fantasy and just see all the bee documentaries for Earth Month. Landon, finally, by Air, Landon, and Sea, you've got some picks from Earth Month by Sea. What do you got?
I really don't like following Kayla in these sort of segments. It's not enjoyable for me because I just am just a letdown. I got nothing for weighty bees. But what you think Coyote Peterson's important to the wild? Let me tell you somebody who's more important. Jeremy Wade.
Jeremy Wade.
Wade. Oh, down out in them waters. The three-toed elephant tide, sealfish. This dude he's insane. Jeremy Wade does what insane people do. This guy, if you've not watched River Monsters, which this is another show that's been on for 300 years. It's fantastic though. This guy he flies out to a village and he hops in a canoe or a leaf or top of a trash can lid in shark and alligator infested waters and looks for these like historic animals that have ravaged a village, for example, for years. It has sadly eaten like 4 villagers. So it's Jeremy Wade's job now to go find this fish that has the most eclectic name you've never heard before. And he's in a boat and he'll catch something and he'll reel it in. It won't be. And it's just an episode of cliffhangers trying to catch this, again, 3-eyed, 47-toothed, razor sharp fish that I guess can walk and run and swim and fly. He's all land, air, and sea. And it's the most electric show. Maggie hates when I watch it because of I sit there and I go, oh, Jeremy Wade back at it again. And it's David and I could talk for probably 15 hours about this show. And we've done a solid hour. Oh my gosh.
We have. Every episode starts, he's like, my name is Jeremy Wade. I've spent nearly 40 years traveling the world's most remote rivers in search of the most elusive creatures. Today, I'm in Brazil searching for a monster said to be as vicious as a shark and as big as an alligator. Legends tell of an evil spirit inhabiting this fish, which reportedly swallowed a man whole. And then he just catches it, and it's just like it's a frog. It's just a frog, and the guy just drowned. Like he wasn't swallowed whole. It just he just fell out of his boat and he drowned. It wasn't anything.
And some of the best episodes are when he catches like a 700-pound fish, and it's not the real fish. And he just ends up saying, well, you know what? On this episode, we haven't found the fish, but we'll be back. It's like almost like a Terminator scene.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Is the boat really small? Is it that small in the show?
Kayla, you wouldn't even call it a boat half the time. It's really like a slab of wood half the time he's on. Some of them are just...
Because he's typically going to like indigenous tribes and he just has whatever they have to like go out and like... There was this one episode where they were out and there was this raging river, like I've never seen a river this fast and this dangerous. And this man of this tribe, his hook got caught in the bottom and he just dove straight into the water down to the bottom to swim to the bottom to unhook it. And like anyone else like would put like a toe in and it would sweep them away and you'd be gone forever. But like these like indigenous tribes not Jeremy Wade, who's like it's really fascinating to see when he goes to these like really remote areas and works with these like tribes to hunt down the fish that they like legit think are like evil spirits or like some ancient historic monster. And then Jeremy's like, it's just a sea bass. That's all it is. Like here it is. Sea bass, but sometimes
every
really
episode they're hunting for like the Loch Ness monster. It seems, and you know what? For that hour, it is the Loch Ness monster for me because I am locked in.
Yeah,
but we've got to move on because again, David, here we go down. This is our SpongeBob rabbit hole. Look, Planet Earth, the Blue Planet. These Planet Earth series kind of just stick with me. In college, I had a buddy that we would just sit for hours and just watch some of the scenes that they film in these and just dive in deep, whether it's on the land, we're talking about the sea right now, but the up and close encounters you get with like whales or fish that you've never seen before because they're like glow in the dark because they live so deep down in the ocean. Some of the stuff that they see is just unbelievable. And then when you tie that in with David Attenborough, it's just beautiful. Just a voice, talk about a voice. He should do Ariel, your show too, David. He should do all the shows. Any show that needs a narrator is Morgan Freeman or David Attenborough. I will write. I'm gonna send that to Congress right now. It's just a vocal, beautiful thing. And these shows are made better because of a voice like that. And if you've not watched any of the Planet Earths, dive in literally to the Blue Planet.
Nice. And dive in to the Earth Month collection all month long by saying Earth Month or Earth Day, if that's all you can remember, into your voice remote and check out all this great stuff. And before we say goodbye for the week, as always, we're here to help you organize your TV watch list in a segment called Plan Ahead. We're off next week, so for today's Plan Ahead, we've picked the best TV premieres for the next 2 weeks, beginning with April 1st to the 7th, which features Smooth Criminals, Sluggish Equines, Mud, Sweat, Beards, and one of our founding fathers. Landon, tell us more about all these new shows.
I may not be the biggest TV watcher, but the combination of comedy and thriller is my cup of tea. Prime Video is rolling out a new series, The Outlaws, starring Stephen Merchant, Eleanor Tomlinson, Christopher Walken, and more. This British series sets a random group of non-law-abiding citizens together to complete a community service project of renovating an old center, only to tie their lives back into the crime game. So load up on the popcorn as The Outlaws drops April 1st on Prime Video. So it's almost Kentucky Derby time, but who in the heck wants a slow pony? I tell you who. Apple TV Plus. Man, I'm on a roll today. But hey, Apple TV Plus's new series, Slow Horses, is based on Mick Herron's first book in an award-winning espionage series. This new thriller brings together a number of MI5 agents that all have one thing in common. They've messed up big time and need to redeem themselves. So see which spies have what it takes to survive Gary Oldman's Slow House and get back into the action on Apple TV Plus April 1st. Now, speaking of Earth Month, USA Network's got a new adventure waiting for you with a title that just keeps on giving. Mud, Sweat, and Beards. I literally read the title and my beard grew another inch. Now, real-life best friends and wilderness experts Donnie Dust and Ray Livingston look to conquer some of Earth's most remote locations. And no, this is no normal survival show. Donnie and Ray call these trips their vacations, looking for food in tragic weather conditions in places such as Alaska or down on the bayou. It's Survival of the Wittiest, and it debuts April 4th on USA. Next, Ken Burns is without question one of the best documentarians of our time. And his next target, you ask? Ben Franklin. I mean, why not take a deep dive into the man who gave us electricity? If you're looking to learn about one of the most consequential figures in history, Burns is here with a 4-hour doc that promises to deliver that premieres on April 4th on PBS. And finally, based off Jake Adelstein's nonfiction account of the Tokyo Metro Police Beat, HBO Max brings you Tokyo Vice. Inspired of a true story, Ansel Elgort is thrust into the underbelly of Tokyo, where nothing and no one is truly what or who they seem, only to learn how difficult the life of a crime reporter can be working in a different country, especially if you're a good one. So, head on over to HBO Max April 7th and lock into this new original series.
And our favorite premieres from April 8th to the 14th include the TV returns of Robin Thede, Courtney B. Vance, Nassim Pedrad, Craig Robinson, and yes, the Kardashians. Kayla, tell us more about these exciting series.
Courtney B.
The wait is finally over, y'all. A Black Lady sketch show is back for another season of hilarious, unfiltered genius comedy. So far, we've seen culturally relevant themes that touch on everything from social norms, anxiety, dating, beauty, and more. So, what's in store for season 3? I can't wait to see what new theme song will introduce all these fine ladies this time around. Is there really anything that can top Hot Girl, though? A Black Lady sketch show premieres April 8th on HBO Max. I typically try to steer clear from the drama, unless it's on my TV screen. From executive producer Michael B. Jordan, 61st Street follows a promising black high school athlete who was arrested as a supposed gang member who was a part of a drug bust gone wrong. Watch as this series unpacks the infamously corrupt Chicago criminal justice system and challenges the institutional racism at its heart. 61st Street premieres April 10th on AMC. Laughter is the best medicine, and more of it is coming our way with the season 2 premiere of Chad. If you're just joining the party, Chad is a story that follows a Persian teenage boy during his freshman year of high school as he desperately tries to fit in with the cool crowd and reconcile his cultural identity. Whew! I'm so glad my high school days are over. Binge Season 1 and join Chad in the next chapter of his wild adolescent journey. Chad premieres April 11th on TBS. You didn't think they were really calling it quits, did you? I would say the Kardashians are back, but the fact of the matter is they never really left. Based on the trailer, we're going to get a fresh, new look into their lives. From Kylie's very public second pregnancy, to Kim Ye drama, to Kourtney wanting another baby. Nothing is off the table. And good thing, because I'll be taking a seat at this one. The Kardashians premieres April 14th on Hulu. I don't even know where to start with this one. I'm laughing and screaming all at once. Peacock's new original series, Killing It, is all about one man's quest to achieve the coveted American dream, while hunting and killing a bunch of snakes along the way. Craig Robinson stars in this one-of-a-kind comedy that has all the funny and all the cringe. I can already tell I'll have a love-hate relationship with this one. Love Craig. Ginormous venomous snakes? Not so much. Killing It premieres April 14th on Peacock.
And that will do it for today's show. I'd like to thank my fellow Xfinity editors, Kayla and Landon, for joining me this week. Thanks to our producers, Brad, Aaron, and everyone else behind the scenes for making this show work and Googling stuff for us when we can't figure it out ourselves. We are off next week, but we'll be back with an all-new show Friday, April 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, if you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch into your voice remote. My name is David. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.